What's up, guys? Disney on a Ninja. And basically, I have a video for you today. So it's not too big, but basically, I'm going to continue on with this concept. Basically, I am going over teachers and how they are teaching and pointing out how they suck at it. And the reason why kids fail today is not because kids or parents failed, but because the system failed. So I'm going to show you a video. It's about waves, interference, arbor science, arbor scientific. I see. So arbor scientific by arbor scientific. That's kind of shitty that they put their name in the title, but hey, petty is as petty does, right? So, wave interference. We're going to continue with this topic because it's pretty easy to follow, but and it shows how people um, they keep a bad idea alive, and this is a good example of how our education system is failing because this stuff is old-fashioned. Basically, like why are kids? Like, this is stuff that you would see in 1960s classrooms. It's 2025. Grow up. Like what the fuck? Anyways, so yeah.
Waves can overlap. When that happens, the highs and the lows can build upon each other. Or they can align in such a way that they balance each other out. When they build upon each other, this is called constructive interference.
Again, why is it called interference? I can understand it being called that. Like this is known as this option A, and option A can either be one or two. In that sense, I can understand. But again, when teaching, you change that interference to something else. I call that like a merger, something that kind of follows and makes sense. It seems, and like I'm talking about, like it's kind of like tuning a guitar, and why women love it. And this is why women don't like science, is because you didn't tune the guitar. You're making music out of fucking a horseshoe and fucking some strings you found, and you're hoping it sounds good. And no, it doesn't sound good, right? And so that's basically what this is. In again, it's just this is your lesson, and it's your teaching, and it's old teaching, it's old technology, it's old lessons or whatever, but you haven't updated. And the problem is the world has updated, you haven't, but you still need to teach them this stuff. So that problem needs to be fixed. And that's what I'm pointing out. Okay? So again, constructive, not interference, but a constructive merger, right? Like a merger is a better word. The two are merging. It makes sense. Well, yeah, they're interfering in a bad way, but that was probably they made that rule before they found out they can resonate. So that's kind of why interference doesn't work. It's because why would you call it interference resonate? The resonance, like, that's redundant, basically. Um, and that kind of works in a way because they kind of cancel each other out, right? But calling it that, it's kind of funny because now that I've thought about that, they kind of it's poetic at times, right? because they call it interference, but when interference meets interference, then they are resonance. But again, we're talking about teaching a kid, and so I've been bitching about interference for so long. I kind of talk myself into interference now. Like I've adapted. I've changed my stance. I'm kind of leaning towards interference as a word now. I don't like it because go back.
Or they can align in such a way that they balance the overlap. When that happens, the highs and the lows can build upon each other. Or they can align in such a way that they balance each other out.
Reinforcement and cancellation, right? Those two kind of balance each other out in a way. If you add reinforcement with cancellation, then nothing happened, right? It's balanced out. So again, I think I'm going back to not liking my stance.
Happens, the highs and the lows can build upon each other. Or they can align.
Right, but reinforcement, okay. I'm okay, that's fine. It's reinforcement. So the waves are reinforcing each other, okay?
In such a way that they balance each other out.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you.
When they build upon each other, this is called constructive interference.
But why is it called constructive interference? Why not just call it reinforcement? That would make more sense. I think that's why I was agreeing to it, is because he is saying it's reinforced, but it's actually being called constructive interference. So if we remove reinforcement from the equation, it seems ugly now. You see what I'm saying? So unless you have the aptitude and mind for it, then you don't have it, and it seems ugly. And again, to a new kid, to someone who's learning this stuff for the first time, it doesn't make sense. And to a woman, it doesn't make sense. And I point that out because we were talking about cars, guitars, and a prior thing. Anyways, that still stands. So, anyways,
when they balance each other out, this is called destructive interference.
Again, the reinforcement and cancellation makes sense, but calling it constructive interference doesn't make sense. Calling it destructive interference doesn't make sense. In the aspect that interference is just a name, like how Bob is a name, sure, it's whatever, but you can call it fucking whatever you want. Why not call it constructive reinforcement or destructive cancellation as an example, right? Like that whole, let's remove that. Let's just call it reinforcement. Don't even have a name for the wave. It's just reinforced. What is it? It's there. It's a noise, it's a sound. It's originating source, right? Bang, the guitar made a noise, and the wave propagates from the guitar. What is the wave? It's a sound, right? You don't need a fucking a word for it. Oh man. Anyways,
Let's look at what happens step by step when two waves travel through each other. Here's a moment when two highs overlap. This results in a combined high that's much higher. This is constructive interference.
again, interference. Where's the interference? They combined is bigger. It seems like a plus, you know? That name does not fit.
Now, here's a moment where all the highs are perfectly overlapping all the lows. We see a cancellation of the wave amplitudes. This is a moment of destructive interference.
But it's balanced, canceled out. So why is it called destructive interference? If it's just neutral and there's nothing happening, then nothing's happening. And yes, the thing that happened prior, you could say, but the result, it's like that. That's why it doesn't make sense.
If you took a
This is my issue in school, right? Is because I was like, but, and the teachers didn't like it. And kids, I'm sure people watching probably don't like, oh, you're a smart person. Oh, you're a know it all, blah, blah, blah. I'm the reason why America was founded because they were all like me. So get over it, you fucking farm animal.
snapshot photo, you might think that nothing is happening. Change that to a video, and you'd see otherwise. In the next moment, you've got a case where the two lows are now overlapping. This results in a combined low that's much lower. Once again, we have constructive interference.
Or just constructive wave. It's just a wave that had met another wave, so it's constructive. Why call it interference? That makes no sense.
So, constructive and destructive interference never
Drop the interference.
occur at the same time.
So destructive and destructive don't occur at the same time.
Instead, they alternate, one after the other. And then the two waves continue on their merry way, having traveled right through each other, amazingly unaltered.
Okay.
Check this out. A wave can bounce off of a rigid structure. Let's add a second wave. Cool. Let's add a second wall and try to confine a single wave.
And by the way, I don't think they're missing a step. They missed the part where the wave it completely sails into the second it hits the wall. Sorry, 1 second. I seen a bug right now. But the second it hits the wall, it flows all the way into the wall until it can't flow anymore, and then it bounces back, right? But it will travel into the wall, so it'll go bloop, hit, and bloop out, right? But if it goes bloop here, then it will just kind of, I don't know. If a wave hits as it's going down, then it'll still go down, but the rest of the wave pushes it up. Okay, that makes sense. That happens, right? So I think on a graph, you would see it still go like it would go like this. Like here's the wall. It go whoop, then hit and continue like that, right? So it hit and continue. But with the sea or the ocean, it hits, and because the rest of the water is there, then you don't see go down because there's water there, so it goes up right away instantly. But they're not showing that step. But that's a bonus. That's that. So far, everything's been bonus, but yeah.
Aha. What we've
See, this wouldn't happen.
got here is called
Not like that anyway. Maybe you can capture a wave, but my point is you capture a wave and it would still be slapping into the wall, right? One way or another, it's still slapping into a wall.
a standing wave. Notice that to have a standing wave, the dimensions have to be just right. Typically, some multiple of the wave.
So this is something that only exists in the same land where dragons exists, or it has no relevance to in reality, but because we're nerds that get off on this shit, we went and gave it a name, and it has a hat, and
its wavelength. A musical instrument, such as a guitar or a flute, is engineered just right to...
And by the way, I'm not sure if you caught it, but he said something.
Such as a guitar or a flute, is engineered just right to accommodate standing waves.
This is where the issue is. Or the issue I wanted to bring up, so.
Length. A musical instrument, such as a guitar or a flute, is engineered just right.
A guitar is not engineered. So what I said is, and by the way, I stopped at 227. Go there and you get to basically see what it says. But that actually isn't true. There is no engineering when it comes to the sound when talking about the guitar. The sound and any engineering that you're talking about is actually originated in the strings. The guitar itself is engineered in a way to tease and yaw the strings so that you can resonate them, basically. That is where the sound comes from. The strings, not the guitar. The guitar just holds the strings. That's all it does. Now, what's it called? Sound goes into the guitar, and then you can hear the sound of the guitar. That's like old cars and whatnot, but still, it came from the strings. Without the strings, there's no sound. Okay? Let's see. The guitars are engineered in a way to tease the other strings so that they can resonate. That is where the sound comes from. Some guitars will also have pickups, like an electric guitar, for example. Old guitars like this one, like there could be pickups with this one to be a microphone, to be louder, to amplifiers, and so that people can hear like the tune of the guitar, the sound of the guitar. Um, Beyond a mic, it could just be pure just string and just whatever the guitar looks like. It doesn't matter. It's just you hear the resonation. That's it. It's just a board holding strings. That's all it is. But yeah, I felt like throwing in this bit of information because I felt this video was kind of silly and pointless as well. So this lesson, it was silly, but there was some good things I mentioned here. So I think you could take from them and hopefully grow and learn, right? And that's the idea. So again, thank you, Arbor Scientific, about wave interference. Um, Sorry about you being petty and insignificant to the point where you have to mention yourself in your own title. But itty what itty, as a great person once said, right? Itty what itty, as it is what it is what the saying is. But that's it. Be well, be happy, be safe. God bless, Godspeed. Take it well as you wish. Take it as you will. That was a weird ass phrase. Anyways, be well, be happy, be strong, be safe. God bless. Don't let this door hit you where the door split you, and I'm out of here. So peace.